Hey everyone, how's it going today? And welcome back to a third stimulus check unemployment benefits extension update. Hope everyone hopefully had a relatively happy Chinese Lunar New Year last week, and also happy President's Day today. Or honestly just happy day depending on when you are watching this, because I tried to make some of these videos hopefully relevant over the next couple of days. So if you guys are watching something into the future, hopefully everything is just doing relatively great, if anything. But in today's update, I really want to just explore the golden question, which is basically talking about when the stimulus checks and also about when the unemployment will physically start, and when we should officially expect to receive them physically hit our bank accounts. Now, obviously, right now at this current time, we haven't actually approved it inside of the Senate, so obviously this is probably gonna impact a lot about when it is, but we're going to be talking about the typical scenarios that we could possibly expect about how this could possibly play out to when we should expect the stimulus checks and also the unemployment to really be able to start according to what a lot of our politicians have told us. So according to what Pelosi, Biden, and all of these politicians have basically told us is according to their plan, that's what we're going to be talking about in today's update. So we're going to get started right away, but before we begin, make sure you smash the like button in light of a lot of this great news that we're finally on the road to getting a third stimulus package and unemployment. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification button for future updates on stimulus, unemployment, and all sorts of different kinds of programs. Feel free to check out other videos. If you guys are brand new here, welcome. Always happy to have new people. I have other videos talking a lot more about the other parts of the stimulus and unemployment, like whether or not to refile, when to call, if you're still waiting for the $300 unemployment, what's inside the package child, like all sorts of different related programs. And feel free to comment any questions, thoughts about honestly just really anything at any time, or if you guys wanted to say hello. It's always great to see new faces and also familiar faces as well. So with that being said, let's get this video started. Now, in terms of where we currently stand with stimulus negotiations, the timeline to really just, I guess, plot out and map out, if you guys wanted to mark your calendars or just to know in general, is that the really great news is that they have officially gone through Trump's impeachment. So now that we can officially move on from Trump's impeachment, the really great news is that really going forward from here, there should hopefully be a lot less distractions than basically over the last several months and months, because as you guys probably know is that we kind of had that chain, that chain of situations that kind of happened over the last couple of months where, you know, Congress would suddenly want to focus on the Supreme Court justice, then suddenly focus on the elections, then the Georgia elections, Trump's impeachment, Biden's executive orders. The really great news is that now, as starting today and basically going forward until who knows, some black swan or something comes up, but from today, the really great news is that now the stimulus is pretty much going to be their number one priority going forward. So they're basically going to be focusing their entire time really on trying to finally approve the third stimulus package, including the unemployment benefits extension. Now, maybe one like slightly lesser good news depending on how you look at it. However, I guess there was a little bit of a silver lining, because it did lead to a lot of the pretty fast progress that we literally had over the last couple of weeks with the third stimulus package. But it's that this week they're kind of on vacation again. Yeah, so the story right now is that this week is that they recently just started their vacation starting today because of President's. Even though President's Day is technically one day, maybe it's because this has to do with the president and the fact that the president is related to Congress. They basically have a 1 week vacation where they're going to be where several members inside of Congress, they're basically going to be on vacation throughout this week, hoping to resume next week. Now, the brighter news is that I do believe that they did leave a committee inside of the House that's going to be continuing on trying to finalize the stimulus package. It's just that because parts of Congress is now on recess and vacation, it maybe will be it's not necessarily quiet, but it's a little bit just on cruise control. So it just won't be as like substantial of a progress compared to the last 2 weeks. But the great news is that they will be making some kind of progress. So it's not just like, you know, like during last year where they kind of just picked up their bags and left cold kind of story. Because onto the much more brighter news though is that because they are now going to be trying to finalize the different parts of the package, so different committees would be working on a different part. The committee, thankfully, that was in charge of the stimulus checks and the unemployment has officially approved it. They just have to finalize a lot of the other parts, like the state, local government, minimum wage, all sorts of different policies, but they're hoping to finally finalize it, hopefully by the end of this week, so that they can finally bring it into the House. And I believe the House now is hoping to vote now on the entire package, so not just the checks or the different parts, but the entire package as a whole, hopefully by February 22nd. I believe that is their target date, if not hopefully sometime during that week. And then following the House, it would obviously go into the Senate and then to the president's desk. The timeline that we're really looking at right now is that if every single thing lines up smoothly, so if they're able to go through the House, if they're able to go through the Senate, if they're able to go through the president's desk, and if everything is able to go through smoothly, they're hoping to finally approve the third stimulus package something by the end of basically next week. So basically the very, very end of the month, if not, maybe the very, very beginning of March. So I would basically say in another like 1 to maybe 3 weeks, they're hoping to get it around that time frame. And then the great news is that the delivery for the stimulus checks is actually looking to be pretty fast, actually. I believe they're hoping to send their first round of payments within 1 week from when they start, when they officially hopefully approve the stimulus package. So the typical estimate is that they're hoping to maybe finally approve it around either the end of February to the beginning of March, and then hoping to deliver the checks around the middle of March, bearing in with the hope everything goes smoothly. Now, the only thing that maybe can potentially come up is that there is a chance right now, and in terms of the probability, I honestly would say it's probably about a 50-50 split. I think it's actually truly like a very, very toss-up right now, that there is a lot of say that if after, because I think most people believe it should probably have a much easier time approving in the House, the 50-50 question really becomes inside of the Senate. If when the package goes inside of the Senate, which is looking like it's probably going to be next week, if something ends up happening, whether there is some kind of opposition, some kind of challenge, maybe someone, I don't know, raises their hand or a flag or something like that, there is a chance that they may have to now revise the stimulus package one more time or to do something about it to change it up. If this ends up happening, it's probably going to lead to maybe a 2-week delay. So basically everything that I just said over the last couple of minutes plus 2 more weeks. I think that thanks to Georgia, so huge shout out to Georgia, because now that the Democrats do have the entire blue wave complete, I think it should be a lot easier. So I don't believe it's going to be like a continuous, like back with the second stimulus package last year with like 5 different rounds of exchanges, back and forth with like all sorts of different bills. I think it should be a lot smoother, but nonetheless, it is something that can potentially happen to really be aware of. Now, when it comes to the unemployment benefits, the really, really great news, I guess, is that if everything goes smoothly, kind of like in the first scenario that we mentioned, is that they're looking like the unemployment is probably going to transition right exactly in the middle of March. Basically, the idea is that you guys would basically, if you're on unemployment right now, continue on to the program, hopefully smoothly, with just no gap or any kind of interruption like that. I think that the general idea is that if everything ends up going smoothly, the unemployment is probably going to gradually, naturally transition into the new program. So specifically the $400 program starting from March 14th, because that's when the current unemployment ends. This is with the hope everything goes smoothly. However, I do believe is that the unemployment, even if they approve it, or even if they take a while to transition into it from the middle of March, they probably will still retro it, so you guys would still be able to start to collect it in terms of the amount as if you guys had started back in the middle of March. The idea is basically the amount in the end should stay the same. It's just really about the timing kind of situation. Now, I do think it's important to notice is that it probably also will depend a lot on the state. Most states, I think the goal and target right now is for a smooth transition. So to just basically have it where we can just continue on to the program into the middle of March and then just onwards until the very, very end of August, which is when it ends. However, there is a say that depending on the state, like with basically the second stimulus package, you're always going to have some states that take a little bit longer, sometimes maybe a lot longer. But I guess the true answer to that is that it really will depend on the state. But I think that the transition this time should be a lot smoother than it was transitioning into both the LWA program last September/August and also the second stimulus package at the very end. Because remember, they kind of signed the second stimulus a little bit later. I believe that when they signed it, it was basically already like that week that it kind of expired, so that's kind of why it had a delay. I think with the assumption everything goes smoothly, it'll probably be a much smoother process. However, just do notice is that there probably will always be several states that just go through some kind of delay. I know that with the recent one, the second, the $300, Virginia, I believe, just recently got it last week, and I also believe that California, some people are still waiting, so that kind of really does show that it really just depends on the state. But most of them, I believe, should be a smooth transition picking up from the middle of March. But the really great news is that we are basically making a lot of progress. It is looking very promising. Of course, we just have to wait till it actually happens, till we can confirm that it has officially happened. But the great news is that they are making a lot of progress from there, and it looks like right now they hope to try to make everything a smoother transition to hopefully be on time, certainly compared to the transition from the second stimulus check. Of course, we'll only know for sure when we actually see them physically do what they're claiming to do. But that's really just a plan that they really have shared with us, and that's also what I really just wanted to share in today's update. So hopefully you guys found some insight to that. Remember to smash the like button if you guys hopefully did and maybe found something interesting about this, and also consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification button for future updates on stimulus, unemployment, and all sorts of finance topics. Consider checking out other videos if you guys are interested, and feel free to comment any questions, thoughts about honestly just really anything at all. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay well, and hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much again.